Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Today's webinar will be about using 3D models for my comic workflow in Clip Studio Paint, and it will be presented by Inma R. Before we begin the webinar, there are some housekeeping items I would like to go through. The webinar will be approximately 1 hour long. All attendees will be muted. There will be a Q&A session during the last 15 minutes of the webinar. Attendees can ask questions in the GoToWebinar question box right away. There's a chat, but we only use it to share information. So if you have any comments or doubts, just use the question panel and we'll be replying you. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, not all the questions will be answered. The webinar will be recorded and the recording will be shared on social media and will be sent via email to all registrants and attendees. The panelists for this webinar are Maria Quiñones, myself, and Inma R. For those of you who connect with us for the very first time or have never heard about Clip Studio Paint, Clip Studio Paint is your all-in-one solution for stunning, ready-to-publish illustrations, comics, manga, and animations. Learn more at clipstudio.net/n and graphicsly.com. Also, we'll invite you to share Instagram stories tagging us as #webinar at Inma_Polito, at Graphicsly, at Wacom, and at Clip Studio Official. We'll share your stories if you tag us. Inma R is a Spanish freelance artist who focuses mainly on voice love webcomics. She's the author of Wild Beast Force House, published in paperback in different countries like the US, Spain, Germany, etc., and The Violinist and the Nerd, for which she's currently working on its third and last season. Aside from drawing comics, she also loves to create art tutorials which focus on mainly Clip Studio Paint tools and features. So with that, I will leave you with Inma and her presentation using 3D models for comic workflow in Clip Studio Paint. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mario. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to share my screen now. Here we go. Can you see it well? Is it working?
Yes, all set.
Okay, thank you very much. So, as Mario said, I'm a webcomic artist, and to speed up my workflow, there are many tools in Clip Studio Paint that makes it easier. And one of the features that I love the most is everything related to 3D, because it helps draw characters faster, and it also helps very much with backgrounds. You can download many different assets, 3D assets and 2D and everything from the assets store, and many of them are free. Some of them you have to pay for, but overall, it's great because every day you have new stuff to enjoy. And if you check the daily rankings, you get the best of the best. So today I'm going to focus on 3D and how that helps me create a base for my characters when I draw my comics, for difficult angles and sometimes for poses, etc. I'm going to start with 3D heads. So as you can see, Clip Studio Paint comes with many different 3D heads that you can customize. I'm going to customize this one. I'm going to show you how this works because this is the one that feels closer to my art style. I think you have to find the head that looks closer to your style so that when you use it as a base to work, the characters don't look really different from when you are not using 3D heads. So let's see, how do I customize this? Every time you want to customize something, you have to use the operation tool, this one here. We click to show all the subtool details. And first, let's see this. When you click on head model, you have different features that you can combine. This one has 40 of this one and 5 of this one, but we can use, for example, this. The more we move this bar up, we get a more childish, more anime-ish features. So I'm going to find a base that looks more like my style for drawing boys, which is I draw boys love. So most of the time I'm drawing guys. So let's see. This makes it look more mature. You can make it look more realistic, but that's not really my style. So I'm going to focus on something that feels right for me. Okay. This is an overall customizing, but now we are going to customize every part of this face, and then we will save it to use it in the future. So we go to facial features, and let's start with the eyes. See, you have many different parameters here that you can move on different angles. For example, height, you can move the eyes to be so that the face is a bit bigger, like not so childish. Probably moving them a bit up. Okay, here works well. Rotation is to move them towards the edges, but I like it here. It looks good. Size, this is wide to make them wider or less wide. So you have to find what looks best for the kind of eyes that you usually draw, so that when you use it as base, it helps you get your own style, but faster. Okay, I usually draw wide eyes, so okay, here's good. This is height. It depends on whether you are drawing younger characters or older characters. You can make the eyes very small or really big. For the kind of characters I'm drawing, I would go like this, I think, like a bit smaller. Slant, this is for the kind of eyes you want, like more tilted towards the nose or less. I think mine are usually less tilted, but it depends on the character. You can save as many heads as you want for each character that you have. And depth, this is you will see better when I turn the head. The eyes can pop up, or they can be more like inside the head. I like this because it helps with this curvature here that I like for, especially for this kind of angle. So we have our eyes done. Now let's go to the nose. You can change the position if you want it to be higher or lower, depending on your style. For me, it would be around here, I think. Okay. The angle, I'm not going to touch that because it's to move it to the side. So this is for a very specific kind of character. Width, to make it bigger or a lot smaller. So I'm gonna make it like this. Height is so that it becomes longer. I usually draw longer noses, so this will work for me. And I'm gonna adjust the position a bit. Tilt of the nose, I like it more like this. And nose bridge depth, I like to make it like this. Okay, now we can customize the mouth. And we can customize everything, but I'm going to customize just the typical things that makes a face special. So the position, we can make it a bit to the top, closer to the nose. Offset is something I'm not going to touch because it's, you know, like for different expressions, it helps you if you want to draw expressive characters and you need a base like this. Depth, you will see it better like this. Leave it here. I'm not gonna change this much. Fullness is like the lips, if you want the lips to be rounder. See, you. So I'm making a character that I recognize as my style. And tilt, I'm not gonna change because no need. You can also customize the neck. Usually my necks are really thin, so I'm gonna leave it like this, and you can also make it like longer. My necks are also long, so I'm gonna leave it like that. And now you can change the position of the head, like when you are drawing, you can see they can look up or down and to one side or to the other, and you can tilt the head. This is very useful for drawing close-up panels and angles that normally are very hard. For example, this angle is usually hard to draw for me. So now that I have this head, I'm happy with how it looks. I'm going to register it. You click here, save the 3D head model to the material palette, and I'm going to save it here. I will name it. Usually it's best if you don't save the head angles like this, but well, this is just a test. So test head. So now well, I go here and I can, when I have a panel that I want to draw with a difficult angle, I will just drop my head here and I will change the layer color and lower the opacity. And now I can draw on top of it, and it helps me get a good sketch with my style. Of course, you don't have to follow exactly as the head. You can improvise, but it gives you a more or less idea of where everything should go. Even the ears, you can also customize the ears and the eyebrows and all. So it also helps with the shape of the head, which is something I always struggle with. Of course, my hair is always bigger than the shape, but so now I hide it and I have a sketch in an angle that was harder for me to draw before. And you can save as many heads as you need for different characters, and you can give them the name of the head, can be the name of the character, so that it's easier for you to find. Okay, so I'm going to move on from heads, but if you have any question about it, you can write it on the comment box, I think, and Mario will pick up the questions and I will answer them at the end. But if Mario feels there is anything that would be better to answer now, at any point, you can stop me and I will clarify anything that needs to be clarified. Okay, so we are going to move to 3D bodies. The software comes with different, with one male and one female base 3D body that you can customize just like the head. So I always save different shapes of the bodies for different kinds of characters, so that sometimes when I have complicated scenes and such, I can use them. So here I have 3 types of characters and the 3 basic 3D bodies next to them. And what I'm going to do is to customize the bodies so that they fit my proportions. My proportions are not realistic. As you can see, heads are big, limbs are very elongated. So I want this 3D body to reflect those proportions so that when I use them, they fit the style of the rest of the comic. So I'm going to start with this one. We use the object tool in the operation palette. We open all the options here. We have to select the body first for all the options to appear. So we have the 3D drawing figure. Here is where we edit all the parameters. We can determine the height here. Okay, like this, but that can be edited later because maybe my torso is longer than this and the legs are shorter in my style, so I will change that later. We can make characters more fit or less fit, and also thicker and thinner. So I'm going to make something that fits the character I have here. So that would be, he's not fit at all. So this is how this will go. For the head, you can also change size. For me, that would be something like this, I'd say. Neck, my necks are thinner and longer. So I'm gonna make it like this. Sometimes it will look really, really weird on the 3D model, but you have to imagine what you will draw on top later, which is like this. Shoulders, you can make them thinner or thicker. For me, like this, it would be good. You can also rotate to see what you are doing. This is for the chest, for example, to make it flatter, but on here would work for me. Okay. Now torso, my torsos are usually long, so I'm gonna move it here. This is for the hips. Hips are good like this. You can also make it longer. Okay, here's good. See, now my character is taller than I wanted, so I will fix that later. Legs are usually, I make them thin and long. Okay. You can also customize fit, but right now I don't think I have much to customize. So now I go back to change the height and make it like this. And now I have this body that I can use more or less. It fits my character. You could even put the character on top like this as you are customizing the 3D model. Oh, I forgot to customize the arms. Arms are, you can also make them longer, shorter, and thinner. Okay, so like this, it works. Okay, so I'm going to move to the female character here. And maybe this time I'm gonna do that. I'm going to put her on top and let's see how we can customize it. But the pose is a bit trickier, so it's gonna be harder. Okay, so I select my character and she is taller. She has more breasts and she's fitter, but now I want to change the hips. I want to make them wider. So I will go here, make them wider like this. And here, okay. The neck is also going to be shorter and longer. Okay. You can also check here if you only want to change the thighs, like make them thicker and the rest a bit thinner. See, there is a lot that you can customize for each character. On the arms. Okay. So this will work for me to have a reference for this character when I want to draw her later. And what I do to save this model is, where is this? Here, register body shape as material. So I would choose webinar and write female. Now each time I want to use this model on a panel, I'll just drag and drop it. And this is good because we can add poses to this model that I created for this. So for example, here, so it helps me draw the characters faster. When you draw webcomics, you have to go really fast because usually there are weekly updates, so you cannot take too long to draw each panel. So the faster, the merrier. You can also click here to adjust the body or to open this menu. So this character is a lot fitter, so I'm gonna make it really muscular. Then I will edit the thickness of everything else. He's also very tall. Neck is longer. See, here you can change the shape of the waist and also the hips. The legs are not so thick. So this should work for this character. I would save it here and name it like the character or the type of body to use for other different characters that look like him. So I told you before about the 3D heads, and I want to show you something that you can do, and I'm gonna do it with this one. As you can see, these 3D models are you can customize them a lot, but the head is not very specific, so to speak. Like it's hard to draw a face here. So you have two options that you can do. On the latest versions of Clip Studio Paint, you can draw on 3D models. So you can draw guides here, like to help you in the future. And you can save the 3D model with these. For example, either like this. I could even draw clothes on them. This is very helpful for when I want to draw later. See, you can see this works very good for basic design, just to help as guide. But we can also use the head that we edited before. And how do we do this? First of all, I'm going to change the size of this head so that it's really, really, really small. It looks awful, but you will see how this works. Now I open this and I'm gonna get this other head that I saved before because it's not tilted. So now I drop this head here in the middle of nowhere. I go to object list and I drag and drop the head here. Now this head is part of this body and the attachment point is going to be head, but it's misplaced. All I have to do is to put it in place. No, here. Okay. Now, when I move this character around, the head is going to move along with it. We could also make the head a bit smaller. But each time you want to move the whole body, you have to select the body. Otherwise, you will move the head around. So this makes it easier to get a more detailed character to draw when you are drawing a comic. Now I'm going to add a pose to this one. So you see that sometimes you have to edit the position of the head, but overall it works pretty well. See here, the neck is a bit off. You could edit that, or you could just use this as a guide, you know where the neck is supposed to go. That depends on how well you work with not exact guidelines. But in this case, this is very, very, very useful, as you can see. Okay, so well, here, if I want to draw on top of this, I would just make it blue so that it's easier to check. The head is also in darkness, so I would go to the light source and make sure that I can see everything better. You can edit this as you wish until you get a clear picture. So now I could just lower the opacity and I can draw on top of this. See, I can make my sketch. Remember that if you have any questions, you can ask them anytime and we will answer them later. So now you can add the clothes, and it's great to draw clothes on top of a base body, especially when you are drawing like loose clothes, because you get a better idea of where the body lies. Okay, this is for drawing the sketch, and then you have to ink it properly and such, but that's not something I'm going to do because we don't really have the time for that. And I also want to show you about backgrounds, which is actually my favorite part of working with 3D. Also, I didn't tell you, but of course, when you drop a pose for a 3D model, you can edit it. Like this is the base of the pose, but let's say I don't want the arm to go this way. I want it to be lower, or the shoulder. You can make it like this. So you can customize even the poses to fit the exact illustration that you want to make. But having a lot of pre-established poses help you when you want to draw something. You can go around all the poses that you have saved and see something that looks similar to what you had in mind, so you can start from there. It's a lot faster than starting from here, from the basic standing model. And you can also customize how you save those poses here, so that it's easier for you to find. Like I have standing poses, run and walking, sitting, fighting, other, etc. Now we are going to check backgrounds. You can get tons and tons of backgrounds from assets. I'm going to use this one just for this webinar. This is the entrance of a home. Sorry. And I'm going to set the angle. You can set the angle with this one. So let's say here. Okay, let's say this is a panel that shows a moment where the main character is leaving the house or something. Okay, so I set up the angle, and now I want to turn these into lines. So I right-click here, and I click on Convert to Lines and Tones. We can click on Preview to get an idea of what we are doing. First here, layer type is the lines. This will show the line art. The more strength you give it, the more detail you will get. So for example, if I give it a little detail, sometimes some lines disappear. This can work depending on the background. You have to adjust it according to that. You can also choose for the line art to appear as a vector layer, and you can choose the brush type. So I have a set of brushes that work like it's hand drawn, and I'm going to use that because I like the effect, and you can choose it here. The problem is this is made for black and white comics, so it will appear without anti-aliasing. I don't know how to say that word, I'm so sorry, but we can fix it super quick after we are done. So this is for the line art. Then for tone, I use grayscale because I'm not working on mangas with screen tones. I just want gray. And why do I want gray? This is so that later I can use this for my shadows. I will show you later. So I have 3 different sections for shades, but you can have as many as you want or as little as you want. For example, this, now I only have this one. The more I move it to the side, the less shadows I get, but I like to get it this somewhere here. Then I just click here, for example, and I get a new one. You can define the darkness here. For example, I want this to be 60, but the darkness means nothing to me because of the way I work. I will show you why later. And I want to add a new one here. So we have 3 levels of shadings. I'm going to click OK. And now a new folder is created with the line art of the background and all the shading layers, which I'm going to hide for now. Now I click on the line art, and using the object tool, I'm gonna open this because otherwise it's too small. I'm going to go to anti-aliasing. Okay, no, first I need to convert it. Yes, I right click, I convert layer to color, but I leave the vector layer type here. So it's still vector. Now the anti-aliasing, I hope I never have to say this word again, appears, and you can choose different strength for them. But the lines are too thin. I want to make them thicker. So brush size, and I can make them thicker here. I can also use this tool, where is this? Here, to make specific parts thicker. Or thinner. Say some. I'm gonna give it a big number so you can see the effect. See, it's so thin that it almost disappeared. You can work with this to create different effects for your background. And same here. For example, for objects that are closer to the camera, and then make everything at the back thinner. So now remember, I have these 3 layers for different shadings. What I'm gonna do is to create a selection from the layer mask, create selection. So now on a new layer, I'm going to add some color, for example. Like this. Now I'm going to make a selection of the next shading area. Just in case, I'm going to remove the selection. Create selection. I create a new layer in multiply blending mode, and I'm going to add some shading to some parts. And I select the last one, and I create a new multiply blending mode, and I change the colors a bit. So you get different depth for this scene. Now, if I want to add a character to this, I can put my model here and adjust the angle so that I can draw a character on top and the size. So let's say the character is standing here, and I can let's decide on a pose. Okay, so this one, like, she's gonna walk out of the house. Oh, well, the door is here, but never mind. So I can lower the opacity. I can also lower the opacity of the entire background before I draw. And then I make sketch. I'm going to do this very quickly so that I have time to answer any questions that you may have. See, here starts this piece of furniture is in front of her, so I don't have to draw on top of it. Now I hide this, and I have my sketch for the girl leaving the house through this door. But if I want to color these, there is a problem in the order of the layers because I want the colors to be on top of the background. But when I want, so the colors would be under this, let's suppose this is the line art, okay. The colors would be there, but when I want to color this part, I might go on top of this piece of furniture. So what do I do? I'm going to show you with this line art I have of this character. Okay, where's this? Here. I'm going to adjust the size. So let's say he's here. So what I do is I put the line art of the character and the background on top of everything, and I put this into a folder that I call line art. Now I'm going to use a layer mask to hide the parts of each line art that I don't want to see. For example, here I want to hide anything that goes on top of this piece of furniture. And for the background, I'm going to hide everything that should go behind the character. So I hide here and here, and I'm using, oh no, sorry, I'm deleting it. I was gonna say that you never delete like this. You use a layer mask, because if you get something wrong, you can always get it back by painting on top of the layer mask. If you delete on the actual layer, there's nothing you can do to get it back. So I always recommend using a layer mask for this kind of thing. Okay, now here I have to be careful not to erase the furniture. Okay, and now when I want to color, I just color on top of the colors for the background. But I will set the line art layer as reference layer. Now when I use this the bucket, see, it will not cover the actual line art of the background. So this shouldn't be in this color, but anyway, you get the idea. So you can get your character in front of some elements and behind some other elements, so that it looks integrated into the background. And then you can add, you know, colors to the whole thing by creating a new layer on top with the clip to layer below option. You can change the color of the line art depending on different parts, etc. Okay, I think I'm right at the hour where the Q&A is supposed to start. So Mario, if there is any questions that anyone have.
Hi, thank you so much, Inma, for this amazing master class, because there's a lot of people that had no idea there were so many 3D tools on Clip Studio Paint.
Oh, yes.
And also we asked at the when we started from which part of the world were you watching us. So we want to say thanks to Alexandra from Poland, for example, Abel from Mexico, Kata from Chile, Scotland, Colin, UK, Daphne, lots of people from British Columbia like Clint, or Danny, Chicago, Illinois, Elaine, Philippines, Michael, who else? Sweden, Johan, Argentina, Nadia, Germany, Katarina, etc., etc. So thank all of you who are watching us live. And yes, let's go with some question. Let me check. I had one really interesting from Dennis Marr. Hello, is there a common mistake you often see that when artists start integrating 3D elements?
Yes, the typical mistake is to follow everything as you see it on the 3D model, because the 3D models are not exactly your style, and sometimes they can look a bit weird. You have to use them as base, but you have to also know what you are doing, kind of. So yeah, sometimes if you follow the 3D model too closely, it will show. Like, you can tell when someone has been using 3D models. And I think the more natural you make the character look, it looks better. For example, I use 3D models to draw all these characters, but I don't think they are exactly as the 3D model I used for them, because you have to add your own touch.
And that's actually one question from somebody from the audience. If you can show us an art piece that you actually used a 3D model, but we cannot tell.
Okay, well, I guess this one, can you tell this comes from 3D models? I'm not sure. I can
That's
try to
great.
find some other, but well, you can ask next question while I look for something.
Yes. This one is from, let me check, Aliyah. How long does it typically take you to finish drawing and rendering a character?
It depends on the panel and the design, especially. For example, this character here is really easy for me because his clothes are very simple and they're usually loose clothes. I love loose style. It makes it easier to draw because you don't have to care too much about proportions and such. But when characters have more detailed designs, which I usually try to avoid because it's problematic to reproduce a very hard design many times when drawing comics. So those take longer. So how long exactly, I don't know. I just, I try to finish one page a day or every 2 days or so. Like I try to finish 5 pages a week. So if that gives you an idea, but it's true that I also work on visual novels as my main job. So drawing comics is secondary. So I draw those 5 pages on my free time. If I could work on comics as my full-time job, probably I will make more pages, like twice as many.
For sure. And another question um, that many people ask is, where do you get 3D models?
You can get many 3D models from assets. Just go to the search, and I think you can. Let me check if I can move this here. This is assets. So here you can filter by different types, 3D character or body shape. There's a difference between 3D character and body shape. Body shape is what we saw before, like edits of the basic character, and 3D character is an actual 3D model of a character that you cannot edit. So see, you have different types, but those you cannot edit. You can only edit body shapes. So yeah, I'm still searching for. Okay, like this here. This is the banner that we used. This used a 3D model for the background, and I used a base 3D model for the character, but the pose wasn't exactly the same. I just used it as like a guide. So more or less it was lying here, but the head looked different. And after sketching, I moved elements around. So I think that's the way to make the art look organic, like not too stiff like the 3D models, but they are big help to put the size of the character, for example, inside the background.
And actually, there's a lot of questions about hair. If you use 3D models with hair to help
Oh,
you for reference, what do you think about this?
I actually haven't ever used a 3D model with hair because I design my own hairs, So it's very hard to find one that fits exactly what you have. So for me, I would rather not, I prefer bold 3D models where I can just add whatever design I have in mind.
This one is from Millie Faye. Can you build a background in Clip Studio Paint?
You can more or less build something. For example, I'm going to show you one of the backgrounds I have for one of my webcomics. Let's see. Okay, so here I have this character had an office. Oh, sorry. I should not never import one background on top of another 3D model. Okay, so this character had an office and I just put all the elements myself. Like I dragged this table from the furniture folder that I have. I have this folder for different furniture, so I just click to add them. For example, let's add this. Now you can move these to the position that you want in case there could be this kind of light inside the house, but let's just pretend it looks good. So after that, you can save this model by dragging them here. Sometimes it takes a bit long because my computer is not better. So after this, I can use this model with all the elements that I added. I added the walls. They are primitive shapes. It's this shape here. And I added the table and everything else. But I did not build the actual chair. I downloaded all these different 3D models from assets. And then I just put them together to make the kind of room that I needed for this specific character.
And actually, that reminds me another question about if you use 3D software to render objects, or if there's a specific file that you need to use to import 3D objects into Clip Studio Paint.
I don't know about creating 3D models. I wish I did, but I don't. So all I do is download models. So for me, right now, it's a mix between the models from assets and Clip Studio and models from SketchUp. But models from SketchUp, you cannot import them on Clip Studio Paint. So what I do is to export the lines and everything from SketchUp, and then I use it here. I'm going to show you an example of that if you like. Let's see, where do I have this? You can ask the next question while I search for this.
Okay, this one is really interesting from Raymond Selvey. Do you ever have any problems with characters looking consistent when using 3D models?
Yes, sometimes. But that's why I create different heads and different body shapes for specific characters, so that more or less I can keep the same proportions and such. And it's true that sometimes when I use a 3D head for specific angles, it can look a bit different from what I draw without them. But what you have to do is after you finish drawing your sketch, you hide this 3D model and you edit the sketch until it looks like it's yours, like it's the same character that you usually draw. Like check the eyes, use reference images from different panels or character design sheets and such, and just edit the sketch that you just made. Okay, I'm going to show you. This is a 3D model from SketchUp that I imported here, and then I just change these to vector layer so that I can change the brush shape. I'm going to use the same one I used before, which is this one. And see, I can get more or less the same results as with the other 3D models.
And that's actually another question. What's the benefit that you're using vector layers?
Oh, many. When you use a vector layer, you can change the size and it will not lose quality. Also, when using vector layers, you can do this, for example, with the eraser here. See, this is very useful, for example, when you are drawing hair, and these ones, you don't want this here, so you delete it easily. And also, when using a 3D layer, especially for backgrounds, you can change the shape of the line art. Here I'm using this shape, but I could be using any other, like for example, let's say this. This is thicker, so I can make it. See, you can change it on your drawings to get different results, and that's very cool.
And this question is, let me find it. Okay, there you go. Maria Dina, sorry, I missed it. Where's the convert to tones option?
Oh, okay, just right click and you get it here. But for this, I think you need the X version of Clip Studio Paint. I think this is not available on the Pro version, but correct me if I'm wrong. But if it is, if you have this option, it's going to be a right click, convert to lines and tones. And when you do, if you are working with screen tones, you can remove the grayscale part. But if you are not working with screen tones, if you want a color illustration, just use grayscale for the shades.
So guys, if you have any doubts about what are the differences between Pro and Next in terms of features, please check clipstudiopaint.net/n. That will be in English. So you can check like in detail and with a comparison chart if there's something that you can only do on X. So let me check another question. There was a question regarding groups. Let me check how to make groups of elements, 3D elements.
Yes, okay. To make groups, you have to open this. Sometimes when I try to make the group by finding the option here, it will not work. It has to be here. Maybe that was fixed, I don't know, but this is for certain, this will work. When you have an object, you just click on it and drag it into the main body to group it. And here you select where this object is going to go. In this case, it's the head, but for example, if you have a staff, you can use the right hand or left hand, and you can select wherever you want this to be attached, and it will move accordingly when you use poses on your 3D model. Sometimes you might have to change the position a bit manually, but overall it works perfectly, as you have seen. And also you can just group things together, not necessarily for this, but like, for example, here I have a really long list of things. So I could,
we're gonna.
sorry? Oh, well, I would just keep. So I could.
Sorry, my connection got lost.
Okay.
Please continue.
Yes, I could group things together just so that I can hide them all together later. You see, not necessarily to make an attachment point or anything, just for the sake of, for example, I could group everything on this side of the wall into one folder so that I could hide it easier.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any other question?
Yes. Sorry that I got some short
Don't
internet
worry.
connection problems, but now I'm back. Unfortunately, our time is limited, but we want to finish with one last question from Dennis Mar. What would you recommend for beginners who want to start experimenting with 3D models in comics?
Well, I recommend to first create your character in 3D using the basic bodies, like we just did here. Save it, and then download tons and tons of poses from assets. You just go here and filter by pose. I'm not gonna click it because sometimes there are adult stuff and I don't want this video to be removed. But yes, when you click on pose, you will see all the poses that you can download, and there are thousands of them. And just experiment with those poses and draw your character on top of that 3D models on different poses to see, to get used to how this works. And then you will be able to draw it in your panels more easily.
Well, thank you so much, Inma, for this amazing webinar. People are sending a lot of love to you. Like Daphne, thank you so
Thank
much. I
you.
really enjoyed this session and I really feel inspired. John says, fantastic. Elaine learned a lot. Thank you so much. Great job from chat. Lots of love from Jonah, Clean, Danny, etc. So thank all of you who watch us live and thank you
Thank
so
you so
much
much.
again, Inma.
Thank you very much for having me and for everyone to attend this webinar. I'm humbled to be doing this. And yeah, if I could help you, even if just a bit with one small detail, that for me is a lot. So thank you so much.
So before we go, one last bit of information. Learn more about Clip Studio Paint on our website, clipstudio.net/n and graphicsly.com. Many of you ask if you can watch the recording. Yes, don't forget to subscribe to Graphicsly channel and Clip Studio Paint channel. We'll upload the video. And also, if you subscribe, you will receive a notification for future videos, tutorials, etc. of Clip Studio Paint. And please don't forget to follow Inma on her socials, Inma Polito in Instagram, X, YouTube, and also her website. So once again, thank you so much, Inma, for this amazing webinar.
Thank you very much to you.
Thank all of you who watch us live and who are watching the recording. So please stay tuned at Graphicsly social media for more events, webinars, promotions, and tutorials of Clip Studio Paint. Stay tuned and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.